Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the Podcast Accelerator, the thrice-weekly show that brings you podcast education, industry insights, and straight-talking reactions to podcasting news. I'm your host, Mark Asquith, that British podcast guy and CEO and co-founder here at Rebel Base Media, the podcast technology company that creates the Podcast Success Academy, podcast websites, productivity, Rebel Base Studios, and Captivate.fm, the world's only growth-oriented podcast host, where you can get your first month of podcast hosting for just $1 and transfer an existing podcasting completely for free. So please go give that a whirl at Captivate.fm. Now, today on the show, we're going to talk about a rebranded podcast launch strategy. Just some quick tips that you can use just to get started with that rebranded podcast. When it comes to launching it, what are some of the things that you can do early on that are kind of low-hanging fruit, all right? So we're going to go through that in just 1 second. But a quick reminder, the team at AWeber are still giving you 90 days to try their email marketing platform. Now, email marketing is the number one way to build and grow and engage with an audience, okay? Now, audience management is vital when it comes to podcasting, when it comes to blogging, content marketing, any kind of revenue generating mechanism has to be run through email. There has to be a huge element of email marketing, all right? And AWeber are the best in the business at that, which is why they're going to give you 90 days to try this completely for free. So please go and check it out at markasquith.com/AWeber. All right, if you're rebranding a podcast, you've been through a launch before, right? Right. Well, let me give you a quick relaunch strategy that you can use in order to gain that little bit of traction for your podcast's rebrand. First of all, what I want you to consider is this. Do you know the reasons that you have done this? Do you know the reasons that you have rebranded the podcast? You need to be able to articulate those so that you can tell people a story around this rebrand. You can tell people the why behind this rebrand, all right? Now, what I mean by that is that you need to be able to create marketing materials. You need to be able to put a date on this and say, on this day, this thing is coming for this reason. Now, if you know those things, if you know why you're doing this, think back to the beginning of the month. We talked about 3 questions to ask yourself before rebranding, 3 questions to ask your listeners. This becomes vital, all right, because you can articulate why you're doing this and you can start to tease on social media. And this is the first thing that I want you to do. Create a mini teaser campaign that runs 2 weeks. Every day, you put something out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, email that alludes to the fact that you are going to launch your podcast again on, for example, the 1st of May, the 1st of June, whatever your date is, all right? Then, in the week running up to that, do a daily Facebook Live to preview some of the content that you're going to be covering. Every day, pick a time, 10 a.m., 12 p.m., whatever. Pick a time and go ahead and do a Facebook Live for 5, 10, 15 minutes to preview some of the content that you've got coming up. And then what I want you to do is launch this show early with a trailer. Launch the show early with a trailer so that you can say in the teasers, so that you can say in the Facebook Lives, the content's dropping on the 1st of June. But guess what? As a special surprise and a thank you to you guys for tuning in, guess what? The trailer is now live. Go and listen to that 90 seconds right here, right now. All right? That does one very important thing. It gets people with a low level of time commitment from them to subscribe or at least listen to and have in their recently played items your new podcast. All right? That is vital. Okay? That is a big deal. And then, running up to the day of the launch, I want you to start to preview the content on your social as well. So say, episode 1 is this, episode 2 is this, episode 3 is this. Get some pull quotes, sure. Maybe even get some audiograms put together. Start to tease that out. And then drop 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 episodes. Whatever you decide, drop a decent amount of episodes on the day of launch so that people can subscribe and they can binge this thing, all right? You might hit new and noteworthy, but we don't really care about that at the moment. That's not what we're into for this, all right? That's not going to get you any more subscribers realistically. It'll give you a small peak in downloads, but it ain't going to buy you brand loyalty, all right? So that's a very important and very short, it's a very quick and very short relaunch strategy. Okay? Of course, you need to be emailing your list with all this stuff. Of course, you need to be asking your network. But what I wanted to do here was not tell you the things that other people tell you. Not use your network to share it. Not tell your guests to share it. Not go to the influencers that you know to share it. None of that stuff, because you should be doing that stuff already, all right? Your network is vital. This, what I've talked about today, this is the stuff that no one else is going to tell you, okay? Do what I said. Go back, listen to this. I've kept this episode purposely short so that you can go back and you can just listen to that strategy. Go back, listen to it again, make some notes, and then implement it. Now, if you want to get into the detail on this, if you want to get specific about your show, go and join the free podcastsuccessacademy.com, all right? Go and get involved in the forums. It legitimately is free access to the forums, all right? Not going to sell you anything. Podcastsuccessacademy.com. Go and get signed up, click on the community, and put your information in, put your questions in, let me know what you need, tag me in the forums, and I will jump on and answer, all right? That's a very important thing to do. So, go and listen again. I've kept this episode short, go and listen again. Go back, right back to the beginning, listen to that strategy again. Take notes, implement it. And if you need a hand, get me in the forums, podcastsuccessacademy.com. That is our academy and our training section for all podcasters across the globe. And thank you so much for joining me, as always, here on the Podcast Accelerator. Remember, tell all of your podcasting friends that the show is completely for free and it's available anywhere that you can listen to podcasts, all right? And if you're wondering what the best next step to take for your own podcast is, whether you're a new or a veteran podcaster, all I want you to do is go ahead and spend 5 minutes to take our short survey to identify what type of podcaster you are and which one of the big 3 or 4 issues are holding you back. Not only will I give you the solution to that, I'll not hold anything back, I will give you that. I will also give you access to our vibrant and free Podcast Rebellion community, weekly free group coaching from me, actionable and insider-only emails, and even a free invitation to the Podcast Success Academy that I mentioned a second ago. So please go and invest 5 minutes now to grow your podcast by heading to rebelbasemedia.io/grow. And until the next session, thank you for joining me, and never forget, the more you expect from yourself, the more you will excel.